Maury Hill starts his mornings in Madrid, Iowa, just as the sun comes up. He feeds his chickens and lambs.
They'll come flying out. This time of the year, it's not too tough because everybody's pretty much got things ready for fall. Hanging feeders are fine, so I'm done here.
He'll spend the rest of his day tending to his 400-acre farm just outside Des Moines, Iowa, producing soybeans and corn. But across his farm and others, there's something different in the air.
Okay, let's see if we can get this done so we can get out of here.
The ongoing trade war with China. It was the largest importer of U.S. soybeans. Now it's not buying anything from American farmers. Despite the economic hit, Hill still supports President Trump's fight. He says his friends do too.
So for the most part, the sentiment is still supportive, but it's getting thinner and thinner.
Are you supportive of continued tariffs?
At this stage, yes. I don't think we can turn back.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Because we've got too much invested now. You know, if we would just pull up stakes right now, all this has been for nothing and we haven't gained a thing, and we just can't let that happen.
Farmers have seen little progress in trade talks. They're struggling, but were thrown a lifeline earlier this summer when the president announced a second round of aid to farmers, some $16 billion. Still, Hill says he's worried.
Once you lose that market and they find a different customer or a different seller and that they're happy with, it's going to take a while for our market to come back the way it was. And yeah. I think that could be years. If the trade issue was settled next week, that market's not going to come back for 2 or 3 years, I don't think.
The Department of Agriculture says China imported $19.5 billion in farm goods in 2017. In 2018, that number dropped to $9.1 billion. Today, as the trade war continues, zero. Gulp.
It's substantial that, China was such a, huge buyer of American soybeans. It's going to take a lot of those other customers to make up for what China was buying.
Hill has felt the financial pain over the last year. His expenses pile up. It costs a couple $100,000 to maintain the farm every year.
People don't realize what it costs to try and grow a crop. Most farmers figure it takes anywhere between $600 and $700 per acre to plant an acre of corn. And when you can't get that cost back, it gets problematic as how you're going to pay the bills and how you're going to keep the banker happy.
So it's like basically breaking even.
Uh-huh. And we've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years.
His was among the nearly 28,000 farms that got a payout in the first round of the president's farm subsidy program. Soybean farmers were among the hardest hit and received the largest share of money.
It's really helping with cash flow as far as, maybe groceries or paying the co-op bill or something like that.
And while he is planning to apply for more money this round, he doesn't like that the president is already discussing a third. To him, it's a sign there's no progress in trade talks.
And I don't want to hear that. It bothers me a little to hear that already. It's welcome, but what we're saying is we'd rather have trade than aid. Nobody likes to have a handout.
Hill believes China targeted farmers specifically because it's an important part of the president's base. In the last election, states with more farmers tended to vote in favor of President Trump. This graph from 538 uses government data to prove that. But now, like many Iowans, he's considering his options and is willing to hear ideas from almost any presidential candidate who has a plan. We followed him to Senator Amy Klobuchar's agriculture announcement.
Being from Minnesota, being Midwest, being on the Ag Committee, she gets it. Like all things, the devil's in the details.
So for now, his plan is to be cautious.
Hunker down. You watch your expenses. You don't go out and buy new machinery, or you don't go out and buy land unless you've got you got money in the bank to pay for it. And so you learn to, like everybody else, do more with less.
Because Hill says he's playing the long game for himself, his family, and independent farmers across the country.
We weren't doing this, who would? And there's a lot more people that need to be fed, and hopefully that I'm being part of that.